In this video, I'm gonna talk about Pacific Drive. Your mission, whether you've chosen to accept it or not, is to find a way out of Washington State while it is afflicted by a serious case of crazy-ass bullshit. We are talking mannequins that throw stuff at you while you're not looking, buzzsaws in the ground, localized nuclear radiation, grease-dripping UFOs, bouncing balls of acid, weaponized dumpsters, mischievous little balls of junk, and the list goes on for another 40-12 pages. Your one and only protection against the bullshit is a pristine specimen of the legendary Wagon Queen family truckster. Trials and tribulations, but especially tribulations, will encourage you to extensively upgrade the ride into a bona fide battle wagon that is capable of surviving everything including the kitchen sink, and of rivaling the Ecto-1 in the sheer amount of stuff that sticks out category. When I say that your car is the protection, I literally mean that your car is the protection. There are hazards out there that will ruin the day of any poor bastard who's got the misfortune of being on foot, but the hazards will have a much harder time getting through all the layers of armor and fail-safes you've hopefully put on the car. All it takes for this to work is to make sure all the parts are in good condition and they haven't fallen off the car. That can be easy or hard to do depending on your planning skills or lack thereof, and depending on where you set the difficulty. The normal difficulty makes the survival part into a largely stress-free affair as long as you keep a good head on your shoulders and you don't flirt with disaster with all the eagerness and gusto of a teenager who just discovered cocaine for the first time. Playing it safe is better than sorry. But at the same time, as you get more acquainted with how the bullshit works, and as the game throws curveballs at you, you will have to skirt the disaster at least a few times, and make contingency plans around those times when your trip will be less of a casual resource gathering job, and more of a scramble to just get to the exit at a basic level. It's worth mentioning that if you're not completely satisfied with your challenge level, you can dial it up or down pretty much whenever you want, and keep going like nothing happened. For my part, I found the default difficulty to be more than reasonable. If you want something else, you are free to do so, and you've got well over 17 billion pages of settings to tailor every last detail of your experience, down to and including how much damage one atom of hydrogen does to your car versus one atom of helium. I am barely exaggerating. An average run is going to involve planning your trip on the map, and although you select a destination, there is no obligation to finish your trip exactly where you've chosen. You can choose to go off script on yourself, and the price to pay is going to an area where you have no idea in advance of what you're getting into. You gather parts and resources from various landmarks, with a pattern emerging as to what's available in what kind of place, and most importantly, you pick up radioactive balls that have the power to break down the fabric of reality. The twist is that you purposely trigger the end of all things at the end of a trip, because this also opens up the way back to your home garage where you can repair, refit, and do it all over again. The garage part is every bit as significant as the driving part. After all, you need to store what you've picked up along the way, you need to repair the car, you need to figure out what upgrades to install, pack your tools and your recovery items, double check on everything, drive off, and then realize that you forgot to pack a spare tire. Parts are going to experience wear and tear. They're going to come loose. They're going to spring leaks. They're going to break down. And eventually, they'll get so old that they're patently unreliable, if not outright destroyed, and you're better off scrapping them and installing new ones. There is an art to choosing the attachments you want to put on your car, because there are many of them, and you only have so much surface to play with. There is an art to choosing whether or not to upgrade, because the upgrade demands uncommon resources, or it eats up more of your fuel and your battery to keep working. Yes, my friend, you are putting together a build. And as with most games, there are many possible builds, each with their advantages and drawbacks. You will ease into it. You'll install upgrades to make up for details in your playstyle. Or maybe you'll experiment, just for the fun of putting together the most extreme machine you can come up with and see if it runs. You've got the time. There's no pressure in the garage, and its peace and quiet serves as both a wonderful way to relieve the stress of your latest run and as a buffer moment to prevent fatigue. Your despair has its own calms, and they're all located in the garage. Tell you what, pause the video and let me know what kind of build you ended up with in the comments below. Don't need to have gotten all that far into the game. You probably have some sort of idea of where you're going to be heading, what kind of things you're going to make up for, what you're going to capitalize on, what looks interesting and you want to try it as soon as you get the chance. There's potential to hear from all sorts of amazing people from everywhere in the world. The driving and the garaging swap places on the regular until the final mission that puts an end to the story, and then you can choose to keep going some more just for the heck of it. 50 hours sounds like a good ballpark to get from start to finish, with most of the upgrades unlocked, but that's going to be a volatile number. On one hand, there is an insane amount of stuff to collect, and I can see the quest for those easily doubling the playtime. On the other hand, you could probably cut the playtime to a quarter and speedrun through every story mission if you've got the brass balls or the shining diamond ovaries for it. In my case, I chose to take it slow, overpacked to an obsessive-compulsive extent, just to get all the odds on my side, and drove conservatively and always on the right-hand side of the road. The absolutely boring way I play this game is the prime example of why I refuse to stream on Twitch.tv. To add some salt and pepper to the game loop, you will get to enjoy some in-flight entertainment, consisting of Curly, Mo, and Larry bickering at each other over the radio. They'll provide exposition during the story sequences, and that causes a bit of whiplash when you're not doing the story, because they will be conspicuously absent. They'll talk to you when you're back home, they'll talk to you if you're busy doing something for them in particular, but if you're out there just vibing with the environment and the panic-inducing noise you just heard in the distance, it's like your mission control just got up and walked away. I wonder if it makes the feeling of isolation more oppressive. The knowledge that somebody could have been here to help you, and they're just not around. So close, and so far. That leaves you, and only you, to figure out what to do with the latest example of the bullshit you have just encountered. Does it move? Is it friendly? Why does it shine that way? Why did that light turn red all of a sudden? How far can it spew the green blobs that don't look like good news? You're gonna have to experiment. Some experiments are more obvious than others. Some experiments are gonna come at you rather than you to them. And some of the things you encounter will not require any experimentation at all. What starts as a big journey into the unknown will become more approachable over time. You're gonna learn what works, what doesn't work, what's good news, what's bad news. You're gonna learn where you can find your resources, when to call, when to raise, when to double down, when to fold them. You're gonna learn when you can stop and grab everything that's not nailed down, and when to gun it from point A to point B in a total refusal to act with the apocalypse coming down on you. You're gonna go from looking in confusion at the latest newfound bullshit to knowing the place like the back of your hand and approaching everything with the confidence of the crocodile hunter. It will get to such a point that you might think about how silly you looked when you first began. Taking your baby steps, cautiously poking at something, and it turns out it wasn't a danger after all. Or, better yet, avoiding a weird-looking thing like the plague, only to realize halfway through the game that it was supposed to help you. Not everything is a danger among the roster of bullshit. Some of them are pretty harmless, some of them are a little silly, and some of them can even be lifesavers. Knowledge is power, and reading the lore is paramount to figuring out how to deal with everything you bump into. The unknown lifts away one bit after another, and what used to be a feeling of dread and horror gets replaced with poise, expertise, and maybe a little embarrassment at having been spooked and scared at something that turned out to be a big old nothing burger once you've explored and tamed it. In short, this game is the darkness.